I talked to over 200 designers. This is like the most cliche, boring and silly idea.
I'm using the human interface guidelines
Because some clients might not be interested in your mobile app designs at all. How to know if your portfolio sucks? Well, that's easy. You can't just upload it in there and wait for the emails to come in. You gotta research and improve. And today I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. Chances are you're not gonna nail it the first time, and that's normal. That's exactly how design works. I talked to over 200 designers that have gotten their very first design job in the last 12 months. Yes, in this horrible economy. And there are some patterns. But what's more interesting is how many of them succeeded with the first version of their portfolio. You wanna guess the number? It's pretty close to zero. So here's how to improve your portfolio in a few easy steps. People viewing your portfolio won't have the time to appreciate decorations or nice visuals of the website itself. Keep it simple and focused on presenting your work. What we found out works best is simple black or white backgrounds and a readable sans serif font. Then write clear information about yourself and big juicy thumbnails. Thumbnails are really important, so we're gonna go back to thumbnails later in this video, and I'm gonna show you how to use research to make them better. Another thing is structure. You don't want a portfolio where you first need to click and enter this website button or a view portfolio button. No, you want your projects to be on the very first page with nice, beautiful, juicy thumbnails. One thing I noticed works really well and turns heads is how you describe or title your projects. I'm gonna give you an example of a dog walking app, but please don't make a dog walking app for your portfolio. This is like the most cliche, boring and silly idea. Please don't do it. But assuming you already have, you can just write a dog walking app in a title under some screenshots and a thumbnail. Or you can write something like this: making local neighborhood dog walking bookings 2 times faster. The first one is generic and boring. The second one is way more interesting because it shows that you understand that design is not about just making some app, it's about solving a problem. And of course, saying things like 2 times faster or 40% bigger conversion for a fake portfolio project is a bit of a stretch. Obviously, you can't really test that data because the product is not real, but that's okay. It's not supposed to be real, it's supposed to be about the goal that you had for this whole design project. And the goal wasn't to just make some dog walking app. The goal was to actually increase those conversions. Okay, next one. Writing about your skills, avoid downplaying yourself. Don't write things like aspiring, junior, or beginner. If you use those words, it's practically guaranteed that they're gonna view you through the lens of these words, so basically they're gonna think that you're pretty bad at what you do. Just say, I'm a designer. And don't write generic bullshit like, I'm using the human interface guidelines to make human-centric designs for the users. This is just gibberish and it's pretty stupid. Here's a quick example on how you can make it more relevant by bringing something more personal from your own experience into the description. And I'm gonna use it based on my own experiences, but obviously don't just copy that, make one about you. When I was a kid, I used to build complex structures out of Lego blocks. Now I'm using design blocks to make complex things a lot simpler. Make it personal and don't be boring. Alright, time for the research part. If you want to know what's going on with your projects and with your portfolio, you need a dedicated website, not a Figma link, not a Behance, not a Dribbble. You need a website where you can install JavaScript tracking code from sites like Beusable or Hotjar. There are many others too, do your research. But you really need those visual analytics tool. Just Google Analytics is not gonna cut it, because having visual analytics will allow you to actually see how people use your site, what they click on, and more importantly, what they don't click on. Now here's another tip. If you're in design communities, and by the way, we have a community right here and you can join by sending me a DM. If you're in those communities, there are great people there. They are very supportive, they will help you, they will try to guide you through their own experiences, and it's a pretty good idea to share your portfolio with them. But if you're using those websites with visual analytics, turn them off before you let your friends and colleagues give you feedback on your site, because it's likely that you don't really need the recordings of the people that are gonna treat it differently because they know and like you. It's really good to reserve those 100 or couple hundred free plan recordings for the actual recruiters, employers, or clients. It's not a problem if you can afford the paid plan in these tools, but still, in that case, split and segment those two groups. So call one of them friends and the other one my target. You can see some pretty interesting overlap between them, but you can be sure that your target is gonna spend way less time on your portfolio and it's gonna be way more negative about it. That's normal, that's to be expected. These are two different groups and you need to treat them as such. I know the market is tough and many recruiters don't even go to your portfolio, but you need at least 20 and optimally 50 people viewing your portfolio to start analyzing the recordings and then look at what they do and optimize. If they only click on one specific project and skip the rest, optimize the thumbnails and the descriptions of those other ones. If they don't click on any of the projects, just enter the portfolio, scroll to the projects and leave, then you definitely need to change the thumbnails and the descriptions. Another potential idea is to make multiple different portfolios with slightly different projects or project arrangement for specific types of clients, because some clients might not be interested in your mobile app designs at all. So yeah, seeing those 200 plus designers succeed this year, I realized after seeing their work that many of us have forgotten how bad design is a foundation from which we grow into good designers. Acknowledging that the bad parts exist and we as humans are only human and we make mistakes, this is the only way for us to learn and not think that the market or the reality around us is unfair because nobody clicks on our projects. No, it's likely because we did something wrong. So I'm putting all of these learnings and more into something I called the Bad Design course. It will cover both all the portfolio tips from the successful designers, all the ATS compliant resumes, and a lot of the design parts that are still being done wrong by juniors, because you can have a beautiful UI with horrible information architecture and really bad UX. So we're gonna go through all of those really bad examples so you know what to avoid and what to do to correct them. The course drops late to mid-April and the price in the pre-order now is $39. It's gonna be $80, so practically double when the course goes live, and it's gonna be $10 more 1 week from this video. So if you want it the cheapest, get it now. If you want to support me and pay me a little bit more, then just wait until it's released. Okay, so why is it called the Bad Design course? It's a bit like reverse psychology, because we need to understand the bad things to be able to identify them and avoid them in the future. Link in the description. Now use what you learned in this video and fix up your portfolio so we both can have a beautiful day.